I honestly didn't think we'd be having this conversation so soon. But here we are, Bears fans. There is something brewing inside Halas Hall that has me completely on edge right now. It is one of those situations where you want to believe in the potential, but the reality on the field is starting to tell a very different story. We have seen the flashes of brilliance, sure, but the mistakes are starting to outweigh the highlights, and the front office is clearly losing patience. This isn't just about one bad game or a single missed tackle. This is about the future of our secondary, and a move that was just made that signals a massive change is coming for a player we all rooted for. Tyrique Stevenson is finding himself in the middle of a literal storm right now, and it looks like his time as a guaranteed starter for the Chicago Bears might be coming to a crashing end. The news hitting the wire suggests that the coaching staff has seen enough of the inconsistencies and the lapses in judgment that have plagued his performance recently. We all remember those critical errors that cost us dearly in previous games, and while we hope those were just growing pains, the leash has officially run out. The front office just went out and made a move that sends a clear message to everyone in the locker room. They aren't waiting around for potential to turn into production anymore. Stevenson has been losing reps in practice, and the vibe around the facility is that his spot on the depth chart is no longer safe. It is a heartbreaking situation for a guy who showed so much promise as a physical corner, but the NFL is a business of results, and right now the results just aren't there for him. He was supposed to be a cornerstone of this secondary for years to come, but instead, he is looking at a future where he might be watching from the sidelines or even worse, looking for a new home entirely. The tension is palpable because we know how much talent is there, but the mental errors are becoming a pattern that the Bears simply cannot afford if they want to be serious contenders in the NFC North. Every time he lines up now, there is this feeling of dread that another big play is about to be given up. You can see it in his body language, and you can certainly see it in the way the coaches are reacting on the sidelines. They are looking for stability, and Stevenson is providing anything but that at the moment. This situation has reached a boiling point where a change isn't just a possibility, it is becoming an absolute necessity for the health of the defense. But the most shocking part of this whole development isn't just that he is struggling. It is the specific person the Bears just brought in to potentially take his place, a move that shows they are ready to move on sooner rather than later. If you thought this was just a minor slump, you need to see who is walking through those doors right now, because this changes the entire dynamic of the room. This situation is developing fast, and I need to know your thoughts. Do you think it is time to move on, or should we give him one last chance? Drop a comment below and hit that subscribe button with notifications on, so you never miss a Bears update. We are covering this roster shakeup as it happens. Cam Lewis is the name that everyone in Chicago needs to get familiar with right now, because his arrival is the loudest signal yet that the Stevenson era might be over. When you bring in a guy like Lewis, you aren't doing it just to fill a practice squad spot or add some meaningless depth. You are doing it because you need someone reliable who can step in and execute the scheme without the massive roller coaster of emotions we have been seeing. Lewis brings a different kind of veteran presence and a level of consistency that the Bears secondary is desperately craving at this point in the season. The coaches are looking for someone who stays in their lane, follows the assignment, and doesn't try to be a hero at the expense of the entire defensive structure. Seeing Cam Lewis in a Bears jersey is a wake-up call for the entire unit, but specifically for Stevenson, it is a shadow hanging over his career. This move tells us that General Manager Ryan Poles and Head Coach Matt Eberflus are done with the excuses. They saw a weakness, they saw a player who wasn't meeting the standard, and they acted decisively to find a replacement. It makes you wonder what has been happening behind closed doors. Has Stevenson stopped responding to coaching? Or is the pressure of being a starter in Chicago just becoming too much for him to handle? The addition of Lewis adds a layer of competition that could either light a fire under Stevenson or extinguish his remaining time here completely. Every single snap in practice is now a battle for survival. We have seen this story before where a mid-season signing ends up taking the job and never looking back. Lewis isn't here to be a cheerleader. He is here to play, and the Bears wouldn't have made this move if they were confident in what they currently have. It creates this incredibly tense atmosphere where one more mistake from the incumbent could lead to an immediate benching. The fans are divided, with some wanting to keep the youth movement going and others demanding that we put the best players on the field regardless of draft pedigree. This is where it gets really interesting, because the ripple effect of this signing goes way beyond just the cornerback position. It affects how the safeties play, how the pass rush operates, and ultimately how many wins we can actually stack up. The margin for error in this league is razor thin, and the Bears just signaled they are tired of falling on the wrong side of that line. The context here is really painful when you look at the investment the Chicago Bears made in the cornerback position over the last few drafts. We were sold a vision of a young lockdown secondary that would strike fear into the hearts of quarterbacks across the league. Instead, we are looking at a unit that is talented, but incredibly brittle when it comes to mental toughness and execution in the fourth quarter. The impact of Stevenson losing his spot would be massive, because it would essentially mean admitting a high draft pick isn't the answer we thought he was. It forces the front office to reevaluate their entire scouting process for defensive backs. If Stevenson can't hack it here, who else is on the chopping block? This creates a culture of fear, but also a culture of accountability, which this team has lacked for a long time. Looking toward the future, the implications are even more severe. If Cam Lewis comes in and performs at a high level, Stevenson becomes an expensive backup and a prime candidate for a trade or a cut in the offseason. This isn't just about 2024. This is about the long-term identity of the Chicago Bears defense. We cannot afford to have a secondary that is a liability every single time a deep ball is thrown. The emotional toll on the fans is real too, because we want to love these players, we want to see them succeed in the navy and orange, but we are also tired of losing games because of hero ball and lack of discipline. The move to bring in Lewis and the benching of Stevenson in key moments shows that the era of waiting for guys to develop is officially over. The Bears are in a win-now window with their young quarterback, and they cannot let a struggling cornerback ruin the momentum of the entire franchise. It is a cold, hard reality that every NFL player has to face at some point. You either produce or you get replaced. The future for the Bears' defense depends on finding four guys who can play together as a cohesive unit, and right now, Stevenson is the odd man out. It is a tough pill to swallow, but it might be the only way to save the season from spiraling out of control. We are watching a career crossroads happen in real time, and it is honestly one of the most intense storylines of the entire year for this organization. At the end of the day, this situation with Tyrique Stevenson and the arrival of Cam Lewis is about much more than just a depth chart change. It is about the soul of the Chicago Bears and the standard that we expect from anyone who puts on that uniform. We have seen legendary defenses in this city, and those units were built on trust, discipline, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Right now, that trust is broken. Seeing a young player with so much raw talent struggle to find his way is a reminder of how difficult this league truly is. It is a wake-up call for the fans and the players alike that nothing is given and everything must be earned. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated because it will define the defensive identity of the Eberflus era. Are we a team that settles for good enough, or are we a team that demands perfection? The move to bring in Lewis suggests we are finally choosing the latter. It is a move that hurts because we all wanted Stevenson to be that guy, but it is a move that proves the Bears are finally serious about winning. So I have to ask you, the real fans who ride or die with this team every Sunday, is Tyrique Stevenson's time in Chicago officially over, or can he find a way to redeem himself before it is too late? Let me know your honest take in the comments, because this is a defining moment for our franchise. If you want to stay ahead of every roster move and every major update as the Bears navigate this massive transition, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are here every day breaking down what matters most to the fans. Don't go anywhere, because the fallout from this decision is just getting started. Bear down, and let's see if this team has the guts to make the hard choices necessary to get back to the top of the mountain. This is a new era in Chicago, and it's going to be a wild ride.